Guys, welcome back to Your Lake Fort Guide. Another episode of the Guides Network. You saw me and this guy catching a few fish on a little bit of a pre-spawn, warming trend swim bait pattern, which is a really good way to catch some of the biggest bags of the year. Really good way to catch some really big bass. We didn't really catch any giants in the episode that you saw on Monday, but that pattern, I promise you, will provide for some big bites. And if you stay tuned next week, you might see some of that happen as well. So today, I got the man himself. We call him the Smash Captain. He's swim bait obsessed. He's bass fishing obsessed. He's always innovating, playing, tricking things out, making them a little bit better. So today, Mr. Heath Taylor from Smashtech Custom Baits is going to give us a few tips and tricks for the pre-spawn swim bait pattern.
Basically live for this time of year. All the other months of the year, you know, that you can catch swim baits in, it's fun. But I absolutely love throwing a swim bait pre-spawn. To me, that's when your chance of catching a giant on a swim bait is the best. And that's, you know, anytime the water gets in the upper 50s, low 60s, that's when you want to be throwing them. A little, you know, thing that we used to do, and we've done it for years with the owner beast hooks, you know, buy the unweighted version. And what we would always do is buy the lead golf tape or the storm suspend strips, which works, but it was always somewhat of an inexact science, and sometimes it took, you know, way too much, because these owner beast hooks, they come in set weights if you buy the weighted one, and then unless you're wanting to throw that exact weight, well, you've got to take an unweighted and modify it. Well, the last year or so, the way I've been doing that is taking and buying. You can go to Academy or, you know, a lot of little tackle shops and buy just rubber core sinkers, old school, you know, Eagle Claw rubber core sinkers. The awesome thing about this is they come in, like, this is 1/16, 1/16, 1/8, you know, 3/8, quarter, half, whatever weight you want to make your hook. You can buy these and make you a weighted swim bait hook. And the cool part is, if you want it to be a 16th ounce weight, you know, buy the 16th ounce, take the rubber core out of the sinker, you know, you can toss it in the trash, and then all you have to do is, because it's basically the perfect size, after you take that core out of there, lay that sinker, the hook in that sinker, and it lays just on it, just like a regular belly weighted swim bait hook would be. And then just take your pliers and crimp it on. And what I will do sometimes, if I'm not going to change, I know I'm going to run, you know, this 16th ounce for a while, I'll take and put a drop of super glue on it, just to keep it. You don't really have to. A lot of times, if I'm experimenting especially, I'll take and just crimp it on, and then, you know, say it's not running as deep as the fish are holding, I'm wanting to fish out a little deeper, I'll take the pliers, rip it off, put an 1/8 ounce on there, you know, or put a 3/8 ounce on there. So you can basically change your weight on the fly without having to, you know, do anything, you know, without having to take and pull off a strip of lead tape that long and sit there and wind it around and around and around your hook. So that's something that I've been doing, and really like the way it works out, instead of having to wrap the tape around it. And like I said, you know exactly that's a 16th ounce weight. You buy a pack of 1/8 ounce. So I keep different sizes in my boat, and like I said, they're cheap. I think they're like a buck a pack or something. So an awesome way to modify and customize your unweighted swim bait hooks to keep them from, you know, to keep from having to throw just what is factory.
Heath, why is that important to vary the weighting? When you're talking about pre-spawn bite in particular, the colder water, what makes it so important to go to a lighter weight on it?
the reason, and this is just, you know, it's the way that I've always thrown a swim bait. The stock, like, grab one of those stock 8/0 weighted ones. You know, this time of year especially, they're just now getting out of, you know, being lethargic kind of from the winter. The water's just starting to warm up. You know, an 8/0 weighted beast swim bait hook, which it works awesome with that weedless poacher. You know, runs great. You're able to reel it faster, but it's 3/8 ounce, and to keep it, you know, say if you're fishing really shallow water, say 3 foot or less, you know, or over the top of grass, and you're not wanting that bait to bog down in that grass as much, well, that 3/8 ounce is gonna sometimes, if you're wanting to, and what I want to do a lot of times, especially pre-spawn, is I want my reel handle going about this fast. I'm just wanting to crawl it. You know, that tail's still kicking, you know, the bait's still doing exactly what it was designed to do, but you're able to keep it up off the bottom and closer to the surface. You know, if you're in 2 or 3 foot of water, you don't want it burying down in the grass. So instead of throwing the stock 3/8 when the water's still pretty cold, you know, 58, 59, 60, I'll take and I'll do a 1/8 ounces. You know, what I'll usually use is an 1/8 ounce. Sometimes if the fish are, you know, coming up and wanting a bait that's waking, you know, I'll go to like a 1/16 ounce, which is the equivalent of what we used to do with the lead strips a lot. So I'm wanting to fish it slower in shallower water and keep it above grass or anything. I'm going to go with these smaller, you know, 1/8 ounce, 1/16 ounce, and being able to fish it slower. Now, if I'm wanting to fish that swim bait faster, or I'm wanting to fish a grass edge in 6, 8 foot of water, I'm going to go with the stock hook, because it's going to be able to keep it down there and hold it down there in the strike zone better. And just like the new weedless poacher, the cool thing about it, and we're excited because this is the first spring really for it. It came out late summer or into the fall. It caught the very.
Yeah, I mean, the first time that I was using it was the fall bite.
Yeah, it caught the very end of the fall swim bait bite, so it didn't really get to see a lot of action before. It didn't really get to see a lot of action before the swim bait bite kind of died out and it got really cold. This is basically a little brother to the convict, which, you know, a lot of people have seen the convict. A lot of people have thrown the convict, and then there's a lot of people that were intimidated maybe by throwing a big 7-inch convict, which, like right here, is a convict. Big fish bait. Lots of people like to throw it, but there is the size difference in the two. You don't need near as big a rod. Now I'll still throw a swim bait rod, but this thing does not weigh as much as this does. The people that were intimidated in throwing this, you know, this is a whole lot easier to get into the swim bait, especially if you're just getting into swim baits. Something like this, it's 5 inches, but it's still got that bulky, deep-bellied shad profile. Still got the same kick that people are used to in the convict, that tight kick. And it actually has a little bit even more head shake than the convict does. So it's just a really super easy bait to fish. Like I said, doesn't weigh as much. All
right, I'm jumping in because I'm really excited about this bait. So I'm jumping in for a second. What he says is exactly right. It's a mini version of a convict, big profile swim bait. It's a smaller version of it. I like to call it my finesse big swim bait. I know that's an oxymoron, but that's kind of what I like to call it. And the reason why is just what you said. It has the same type of tight kick, tight action. That you know, this was a cold water pre-spawn beast. I mean,
and it still catches them every year.
Absolutely. And the very first fish I caught on one was in February, this time of year. So it's absolutely the right. And the deal is, like you said, the tight head kick, the tight head wobble, and the tight fast tail kick. Well, this has all those characteristics of that big bait, but in a smaller package. So it does make it less intimidating for somebody that's just kind of learning to throw bigger swim baits. But it has a meatier profile than your normal 5 or 6 inch swim bait does. So you get a little bit of that big fish swim bait deal.
Yeah, you get the draw of a bigger swim bait, but in a more manageable package. And
maybe people that, you know, fish on weekends or whatever, they may not want to commit to throwing this for only a couple bites, because sometimes when you throw a bait this big, you're only going to get a couple bites.
Yeah,
that's the deal. It's a big fish bait. And so sometimes you eliminate a lot of fish. You're trying to target specifically bigger fish.
And like tournament guys this year.
Oh, dude. And see, that's the deal with this is I feel like it brings so many more fish into play while still drawing those big bites from those fish that want to eat a bait that acts like a big swim bait. And the other deal is, too, you rig it up on... Now, the lightweight deal is great because with this bait, rigged weightless with just the lead tape or whatever, the way we always did it, man, it took a lot of patience and a lot of commitment because you made these super long casts and you go, yes, you do this.
And that's hard for Billy.
So. It's hard for me. And it's hard for a lot of you, and I know it's hard for people. Well, especially when you're not used to it, you don't have the confidence and the patience to say. So that's a hard deal. With this deal, the great option for me is you can rig it on an 8/0 3/8 ounce owner beast hook.
And I know you've been running on a flashy swimmer.
I've been running on an 8/0 flashy swimmer.
Ronnie's been doing really well at Falcon, running on a flashy swimmer.
Yes, we have. And so the deal with it is when you put that belly weighted hook on there with that 3/8 ounce weight or 1/4 ounce, whatever it is, it's kind of just like just slow rolling a spinnerbait across the flat. You know, you just make a bomb cast with it. It's really easy to cast, compact, but has some weight to it. And you just kind of reel it. It's nice, little smooth, the slow type of retrieve. You don't have to be quite as committed and patient as you do with this bait here.
Yeah, that one you can watch paint dry when you're retrieving this. The way I like to fish it.
The way it needs to be fished. The way it needs to be fished. You're correct. You do. This deal is going to be a huge, huge hit this spring, guys. This bait, if enough of you guys will put it in your hands, will catch the most new personal best for people because this bait absolutely does get big bites. It gets more bites than your big swim baits. And man, it's just, I'm telling you, I've never come out and been like, hey, this is the bait you want to own. But hey, I'm telling you guys, this spring, that's the bait you want to have. Throw it early and often. That's the one you want right there.
And it's the same bite. You know, when they hit these things, it's a
violent.
Your whole line jumps. But like I said, don't get gun shy and set the hook like, you know, I probably did a couple times a day. But hadn't fished in a couple months, so I was a little rusty, a little anxious. Just keep reeling, let them load up on it, and then lean into them.
Got him. Hey, ate that poster. Show that to the folks at home. Golly. Well, Heath, man, thank you for sharing some of your insider knowledge. You've thrown swim baits as much as anybody in East Texas has. You've got a ton of experience. You execute so well on them. No matter what the fish are biting, you always seem to catch them on the swim bait. It's really impressive. All the baits that you've come out with and kind of take old baits and kind of done new tricks to them and invented your own baits brand new from scratch. And, man, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and talk to us and share that knowledge that you've acquired over all these years. And awesome news. So thank you for that. Guys, Smashtechbaits.com. It's linked in the description. Weedless Poacher. My two favorite colors for the Lake Fork areas can be light hitch and pearl. Man, this guy makes a ton of great colors. Match them up to the bait fish in your area. Get on the Weedless Poacher. This is going to be a big, big deal. Hey, and if you are in East Texas, and we're going to be adding some new lakes too. Maybe you're down at Lake Falcon. We've got some great fishing locations on the Fish Lyfe app. Be sure and check those links out as well. Find the link that suits the device that you prefer to use. Click that link. Go check out the Fish Lyfe app. See what lakes we have. Subscribe to one. I promise you won't regret it. Great information, constantly updated, the freshest, most detailed, best fishing information money can possibly buy. And if you get a chance, go check out the fine folks at sixcentfishing.com as well. Hey, when you get there, if you want to order anything, be sure you punch in that code, Your Lake Fork Guide, get a 10% discount on all orders. Awesome knowledge by you. I think I've paid all my bills, so let's let these folks go on about their business for the rest of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching, following along. Give us a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. Lots of informational content on the Your Lake Fork Guide channel. We sure would appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time right here. Where are we going to see them, Heath?
Your Lake Fork Guide.